Welcome back to the Pesky Report, brought to you by Beyond the Monster. It's Matthew, we got Jordan, and we got Derek joining us today. It's episode 539 of the Pesky Report, and we've got a special guest joining us as well. We've got Mike Antonellis, the broadcaster, one of the broadcasters for the Woo Sox, joining us today. Very special guest. Appreciate you coming on, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course, anytime. Derek, I see you found your headphones. How are
Yes.
you holding up this fine evening?
Literally, we're getting ready for this, and I cannot find my earbuds. I'm searching all over the place in my room, and for whatever reason, I go to reach in my pocket for my phone, and I get my phone, and I feel something else, and my earbuds are in my pocket, and I'm just like, I spent like 10 minutes looking for them, just for them to be in my pocket the entire time. And I had put them into my pocket because I was like, I'm going to forget where I placed them, or I'm not going to be able to find them, so let me put them in my pocket. And I forgot I put them in my pocket, and I was looking all over the place for them. And what do you know? They're in my pocket. So I've had a great start to, I guess, tonight getting ready to record, but ready to go now and ready to rock and roll.
Yep, that's a classic meatball right there. I think that people would say. Derek, great job. We listened to the minor league show that you guys put out. Good to always have a minor league talk episode out last couple of days. What was that? Was it last week? Last Monday?
Last Monday, yeah.
Okay, so it's been a full week. I'll tell you, my week has been completely thrown off. I worked Monday, Tuesday last week, and then had off the next 5 days. And then I worked again today. I'll work tomorrow, and then I have off until the Friday after New Year's. So my week and like planning things out is like so messed up in my head right now. But glad to have you on, Derek. And Jordan, you know, I have to say, you're never going to beat the allegations of pandering your facial hair to our guests. When we had Peyton Coley on the last episode, he had just the stash going, simply the stash. And now we have Mike on, who's also rocking like the shadow look. And Jordan here shows up rocking the shadow. I don't think you're going to beat the allegations.
Man,
at this point.
I can't control how my facial hair grows in, man. Like I did think about shaving today before recording. That's on me for grifting too much. Unfortunately, I gotta cater to the audience and to our guests.
Well, we finally have a big move to talk about. We haven't recorded since the most recent trade went down yesterday. Yeah, it's crazy that it's already been 20. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Or was it 2 days ago?
It was yesterday. It was last night. It was like right before Monday Night Football, or Sunday Night Football, rather.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So it's literally time. I feel like it's been an eternity since that's happened.
Willson,
already.
Drake, May, Contreras.
Yes. That's what some are saying on the internet. Yeah. Many are saying. Yeah. So the trade was Red Sox get Willson Contreras and $8 million cash, which is very close to $7 million, and they in turn sent Hunter Dobbins, the Yoinker Fajardo, and was it Blake Ayeda?
Yep,
was the last one. Yeah. So another trade with the Cardinals. Seems like Craig and Heim are becoming best friends slowly and surely. I know we're not going to talk about it yet, but there's a report that just dropped from Ken Rosenthal, and I think it was Will Salmon as well, that said that the Cardinals and Red Sox are discussing yet another trade, this time for Brendan Donovan. I cannot speak tonight. This is bad.
Here we go.
Are you trying to do your best impression of me here? Because
I literally
the amount of mispronunciation. At least when I mispronounce names, they're typically intentional. At least I typically do it intentionally.
All right. So with that being said, I just want to ask Mike, what are your thoughts on the acquisition of Contreras?
Well, I think the Red Sox, Cora has talked about being better defensively, and Contreras was really good at first base in his first year, right-handed hitter. So you get a first baseman, which you need. You get good defense, and he's an older guy. He's going to be a great mentor for Narvaez too. I think that's another huge thing, is having him in there in the catcher's room. But it's a good middle of the order bat. I mean, his offensive years, I think, previous to him playing first base were probably different because he caught. So he wasn't playing as many games. Now he's going to play 130 more because he's a first baseman. So I think he has the ability, if he gets 20, 25 home runs and hits even 260 and plays really good first base, that's what you need. That's what the Red Sox scored enough runs last year. You can't finish last in defense. I mean, last in errors. So yeah, I mean, I still want more moves, but I like that move at first base.
You don't want. I know there was a report that the Cardinals had approached him about getting some more burn at catcher again in 2026, and he was open to that idea. Are you 100% against giving him any more catching opportunities? I know that Red Sox Stats, a very polarizing figure on Sox Twitter, but Red Sox Stats said that he would love him to become VMart 2.0, where he basically takes like 30, 40 games at backup catcher, DHs a ton, plays a ton of first base, and then just mashes.
Yeah, I think they do like having that third catcher. They did that last year at the end of the year. I think Cora likes having that flexibility because it does gives you – Wong is athletic, so they can use him maybe in other ways, even a pinch run for Narvaez. And then you can put – yeah, I mean, I trust them in this situation, but I think Contreras is going to bring a lot. I think you have to do right by your young players. Like, you have to surround – Narvaez with a mentor, because he had a pretty good year last year, and you think he's going to be really good, and you're probably going to have to pay him. But I think veterans, with the way this team is built, are very key. You don't want to be Baltimore. Baltimore, great position players, too young. So I like getting a guy a little bit older here too. And it shows a guy that was willing to play first base and played at a high level.
Speaking of Red Sox stats, I was going to shout out some analysis he did back on the 12th, where Willson Contreras, he said, is consistently a top 10 right-handed batter in the MLB. From 2023 to 2025, he was 9th in all of baseball with a 365 expected WOBA, which is the exact same that Pete Alonso has. In just 2024 through 2025, he was still 9th with a 361 expected WOBA, and Alonso was a 364. So, like, when you're looking at the last couple of years and some of the underlying numbers, pretty cool to see that we're acquiring someone who can be very consistent. So, I mean, other than in April in 2025, when there's a big discrepancy from May onwards, May through September, he was again 9th in all of baseball with a 368, and Alonso was 366. So he actually was even outperforming Alonso as far as the some of those underlying numbers are. So I mean, it's encouraging for me to see that, and obviously we needed at this point to add a couple of big bats that can hit with runners in scoring position. I know that Contreras had a 900 OPS with runners in, I don't remember if it was runners on or runners in scoring position last year. But yeah, I mean, he seems to come through in the clutch. Jordan, what's your overall take on the trade?
Yeah, for starters, I've been on the Willson Contreras train for a couple of years now. Even before he converted full-time to first base, I thought that he made a whole lot of sense. Last year, worth noting, career high in pull air rate was I think 19.5%, which was, again, using the Alonso comparison, higher than Pete's as well. I think people see big righty bat and just assume perfect fit for Fenway Park. Pete actually goes the other way. I think 25% of the time, I think is what it was. So I actually think he fits perfectly in Baltimore. But that's, be that as it may. Contreras makes a ton of sense. Value-wise, about the same as Pete the last few years, and you're getting him at 18 mil as opposed to 31. And I know that isn't how Red Sox fans want to talk about players, but if you're getting similar value, it might look a little different. But why would you, like, if you can get the same amount of value for less money, why would you spend more money to do it? Like, budgets exist for every team. Just some are astronomically high. But we were talking about this before we went on. Like, look at the Mets. They've been operating under like a limitless budget for the last few years, including giving Juan Soto all that money last offseason, and now they're like completely nuking the operation. And there's a multitude of ways that you can build a winner, and I think Willson Contreras puts the Red Sox in a very good position, positional flexibility wise, financial flexibility wise, and then obviously just the impact of him on the field as a hitter in general.
Yeah, I'll just add on to Contreras' last 115 games last year. 277, 368, 487 for an 854 OPS. He had a 141 weighted runs created plus, 27 doubles, 1 triple, and 19 homers. I think you kind of look at that and, 100, that's over 115 games. You'd assume maybe plays 130 to 140 potentially. Depends on how much he catches, I think, and how much he DHs. But if we say 130 to 140 games, you're probably looking at a guy who can give you 25 homers, 40 doubles potentially. Or maybe not 40 doubles, but 35 doubles, 25 homers, which is something that, especially from the right-handed side of things, I think the Red Sox are very much looking for, and they had been looking for. And Contreras, I think too, you look at his if you go by counting stats over the years, it's not going to look as good because being a catcher, he would only play sometimes 100 games a year, if that. So now that you're going to get him for at least 3/4 of the games you're playing, as long as he's healthy, that's a right-handed bat that you can stick in the middle of the lineup. It'll be interesting to see, depending on what moves get made as the offseason moves on, where he'll kind of slot in the lineup. I think that's what I'm the most interested about in this move. It's like, where does Alex Cora feel that he's going to fit in the lineup?
Right, because as it stands right now, it kind of is like, oh, he's the Alex Bregman replacement in the lineup. But then, like, clearly it's not going to be the only move that they make this offseason. Right. Mike, you got a chance to call some of Hunter Dobbins' games when he was with Worcester, I'm assuming. What's your take on the return? Do you think that it was a little bit of an overpay, an underpay, just right? Kind of what do you think about what we had to give up?
I didn't think it was that bad because it's still a big league player, and it was a need you needed a first baseman. You do have Romy Gonzalez, we know that, but the Cardinals are not. They know you want something more, and I just think we've seen what it costs big league players. They turned that one pitcher, Fajardo, is that how you say it? That was a Camp Booster deal. That's a player they picked up off the street, flipped him for that player, was able to flip him. But I think they've built so much pitching depth, which I've never seen since I've been in the organization since 2005. They've never had this many pitchers, and they're going to be guys we're not talking about. They're going to draft again next year. But there's a tax that you have to pay. And Dobbins is going to be good. I think Dobbins is much better than Richard Fitz. I think he's more of a starter. I don't know if Fitz is a starter long term. He could be, but I think Dobbins is going to be really good. I think he's going to be someone the fans really like there. I think he's going to turn into he's going to be the perfect Cardinal. And I'll miss him. I really liked him. I thought he'd be the fifth starter here. So, yeah, I think it's just right. It's what you have to do.
I think in a lot of ways, he reminds me a lot of, in like a better sense, like similar. Again, we were talking about this before we went on, how Brendan Donovan, or I mentioned that Brendan Donovan's like Jeff McNeil if he was a little bit better at everything. I think Hunter Dobbins is Miles Michaelis if Miles Michaelis was a little bit better at everything.
Yeah.
although Michaelis got deeper into games, but I think Dobbins is a more talented arm in general. So I do think it's fitting that he ends up in St. Louis. Sorry to cut you off, Matt.
No, I was going to say he just seems like someone who would be an amazing clubhouse guy anywhere. And so if you're going out and acquiring pitchers who maybe aren't necessarily, top end of the rotation type of guys, Heim's done a great job of at least bringing in, two of our best clubhouse guys, which is, Richard Fitz and Hunter Dobbins to fill his rotation in the back end there. Like they're getting our best, like some of our better dugout celebration people and just overall clubhouse chemistry guys. So
Fitz, I loved. I mean, he is you talk about a real good personality, but the high makeup guy. And I think he could be a really good reliever. I called, like, for some reason, every time I was doing radio last year, he started. There was one start where he threw like 16 straight fastballs to start the game. And I'm thinking, is this him trying to be, are they going to move him to the pen? Because that, usually you don't do that to start a game. But he was able to pitch through, like, just using 2 or 3 pitches at times. But you're right. They got those two guys are real high class, and I hope they do great. That's kind of the position I am when you see these guys and you get to know them. I hope they do well, and don't be the Red Sox in the World Series, but
yeah, I'm sure Heim would love that
at some point.
Yeah,
I'm sure Heim would love that. Yeah. I'll just add to the kind of just the return the Cardinals getting. It was interesting. Shout out Ian Kundle. He put out on Twitter that he doesn't think it's a coincidence that those are the 3 guys they traded in Dobbins, Fajardo, and Aida. They all have fastballs that struggle to miss bats. The whip rate on fastballs for the 3 of them was Dobbins at 12%, Fajardo at 13%, and Aida at 16%. MLB average is 21 to 22%. So it is interesting in terms of bat missing ability on fastballs that those are the 3 guys they're trading away. But also it very much seems like Breslow has been kind of staunch on having guys with elite stuff and seeing what you can develop, or at least having that go-to fastball, because you can teach a breaking pitch. You can kind of teach velo, but like, if you look at a guy like a Peyton Tolley, right? You can teach him velo, but he already has really good fastball characteristics before he gets into the system, right? That's a lot harder to teach on top of also trying to teach velo than it is to teach someone secondary pitches. And I think that in that sense, you look at just Breslow's drafting history. I mean, Kyson Witherspoon this year and Marcus Phillips, Anthony Ianson, et cetera. You run down the list, right? A lot of those guys, good fastballs, right? And obviously Tolley last year. And so I think in that sense, you kind of look at it and you go, okay, like you can see why those are the 3 guys they moved on. It doesn't mean those guys can't be successful in the big leagues. There's always guys who maybe don't have the best swing and miss stuff, but have had great careers. I don't know what the perfect comparison off the top of my head, but like there are guys who, or I'll use Jamie Moyer because that guy could not throw over 90 to save his life, but pitched like 50 million years in the big leagues, right? Jamie Moyer might be the biggest outlier of all outliers, but but I mean it's an example, right? Dobbins, Fajardo, and Aida all have upside for the Cardinals, which is desperately needed, I think, for them on the pitching side. Especially in the big leagues right now, Dobbins kind of gives them potential that they could tap into quickly on the big league side of things because their rotation is very iffy at that. Dustin May right now, I think, is slotted to be their number 2 starter per Fangraphs. That kind of tells you what their rotation is right now, and not something I think Cardinals fans would look at and be super excited about, unfortunately for them.
The Cardinals are actually targeting all the redheads that played for the Red Sox last year.
You can't have Christian Campbell.
No, I was going to say they may be going after in the next trade. They might be, trying to acquire Christian Campbell, for that Brendan Donovan trade there. I don't know. Just
not allowed.
They said, all right, we got a list of people we are interested in. First question. Any gingers left on the roster? They said, what'd you do with that Cam Boozer guy? They actually only they only got Yorker Fajardo because they heard he was associated to the Cam Boozer trade. So they said, we gotta bring him in.
Can we do a quantity over quality ginger trade?
Real quick, can we bring up
please?
the fact that they traded away the guy who gave us arguably our most legendary moment on the minor league show?
That's true.
That's
No,
true.
they trading for Hardo. They traded away the guy who gave us like our best moment ever on the minor league show. Like the fact that they took that away from us. Although I will say it's not as bad as when they traded over Portes, because that was a really fun bit we had going on for a little bit about him being from Antigua and Barbuda. But they took away our best moment.
Derrik, I got to tell you something. When I listen to your guys' show, I listen to a lot of podcasts at 1.5 speed. I have to slow your show down. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Yeah, that's about right. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I got to go down to regular speed there. But don't
It goes
feel
down
bad.
to 0.75.
Yeah. Like, what in the world? Like, that last sentence you just said, I caught like 50% of it. I'll be completely honest with you.
Something about Ovis Portes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Antigua and Barbuda. Only professional baseball player ever from Antigua and Barbuda, and the Red Sox traded him. And they traded him for Lucas. Wasn't it? It was for Lucas Sims as well. Like,
oh yeah.
Of all the people, nothing against Lucas Sims. Nothing against Lucas Sims.
No, you could some stuff against Lucas Sims.
I'm trying to be nice, okay?
He was really good in those 2 games.
That's why I'm here, because I'm an asshole.
I think we saw him last year in the international. He pitched at Polar Park last year, I think, for someone else.
I believe that.
He went to the. Oh, never mind. He went to the Reds.
Yeah,
I was thinking he went to the Angels, and they streamline everybody that big. So he'd already be in the majors if he was an Angel. But
no, Portes pitched in low A last year. He had a rough year at a 5.87 ERA, but he's only 20. So
I was gonna say, wasn't he like 19 when we traded him?
Yeah. I was looking at. Portes was 19.
I feel like Coley was kind of upset with that trade at the time.
Yeah. The thing with Portes is he throws hard, but like, he's got really rough command. Fangraphs has his command graded at a 20 on the 2080 scale.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a rough one. I mean, I always say I could go up there and throw a strike. It might get hit 5,000 feet.
It's better than I can say.
Yeah.
That is shit. Well, no, because I would literally do all I can to throw a strike. It might be 20 miles per hour, and it might be clobbered 500 million feet. I'm throwing a strike. I've always told myself if I ever throw a first pitch, I will not let my ego get the best of me. I'm not going to try and throw hard. I'm just going to try my best to throw it over the plate.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
I ain't saying nothing.
It's very lonely out there.
I think you should talk to the cameraman.
Yeah.
It is very lonely up there.
I've had to do it. I threw a first pitch once, and I couldn't believe how far everything was and how lonely you're in that middle of the diamond. It's, yeah.
That's why you need to hurry up and rush. As soon as they tell me to throw it, just throw it and get out.
Just throw it.
The more you sit there and wait, the worse.
Yeah, where did you get to do that, Mike?
I did it in Portland. I was in Portland for 15 years, and I had my general manager at the time said to me, "Are you approaching any milestones?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I'm going to be at 2,000 games." And he's like, "If you don't tell me the day that you do that, I will be mad at you." And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "You're throwing a first pitch out." And I'm like, "I don't want to do that." He's like, "You're doing it." So Tim Fedorovich was the catcher that day. And he just said, "Throw it high, man. You'll be good." And I did it, but it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, Jordan, throw it high.
Yeah.
I threw it a little too high.
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah, I mean, it was a little high and to the right.
It's great though. It's a great highlight. Jordan's
Hey,
yeah.
I will say, Jordan, you will forever live on. Like that moment will forever live on. That will be infamous.
Yeah, the celebrity ones are way worse. Like
50 Cent.
Yeah. Or there's another one. The girl, she did at Tampa Bay, I think.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Right?
That was a bad
But
one.
no matter what, he always makes it in every compilation video. if
does.
not like right at the top, he's always in the top 3 or
And they
4.
sneak
I didn't
me
know that
into
was Jordan for the longest time till I
they
met him.
sneak me into the celebrity videos too. Like, bro, I'm not a celebrity, but it's so well known that they gotta sneak.
Well,
me in
I
there.
think the thing that makes it bad for you, it wasn't the pitch necessarily. Like, it's just the fact that there
was
just
the
happened to be a
pitch.
cameraman. No,
Yeah.
it just so happened that it was just the fact that there just so happened to be a cameraman standing right there to where the ball hit him
And his reaction is
perfectly in
bad.
that specific area. If that cameraman moves out of the way and the ball doesn't hit him, that's not nearly as viral.
Right.
It's not viral.
I agree with you on that.
Shout out to the fact that if anyone wants to go back and find this that's listening to this episode, we actually had the photographer
We did.
Tony on
Oh,
the
wow.
podcast
That's awesome.
I think it was the off season
It was last off season.
Yeah, it's last off season.
That's great.
Yeah,
Good
the first
work.
time they like reunited. It was phenomenal episode.
Got him fired, I think, right? That was he got in like some serious trouble because he wasn't supposed to be there. So karma, I guess. Like,
Oh, really?
the man
Yeah.
upstairs put in a call, I guess.
Karma.
Yeah, you took his dignity, then you took his job.
Yeah, his dignity. That's what I took. That's exactly what happened. Dignity for sure.
Mike, I saw that the Woo Sox were announced winners of the 2025 minor league team of the year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. What kind of a pride can you talk about, working for the Woo Sox and the organization down there?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's too bad we lost Larry. Larry Lucchino was our fearless leader. Larry's was fantastic, and Dr. Charles. They split off from Larry and from John Henry and that ownership. But it's fantastic leadership. It's really this, and also the city is really. They were very open to this. They really wanted this. They approached Larry and Dr. Charles with a business plan that they really couldn't refuse when they didn't know what was going to happen. We have a lot of employees. Everything is done. We always joke around like, of course they thought of that. Like any theme night we do, there's like 7 different layers to it. Like for instance, every fireworks is themed like theme music. We did this Irish theme, and of course, Dr. Charles hired this Irish band from another. I don't even think they were from here, and they did this big Irish concert. Like they're very good at like the way that they've made it Worcester's team. Like Worcester is called the heart of the Commonwealth. So they really ran with that heart theme. Like there's hearts everywhere. We have heart-shaped lights in the outfield. It's we do a lot of different nights with different towns. We have these town takeover nights. We do theme nights for every country you can think of. Like it's incredible. And then of course our setup is ridiculous because we do every game on TV. And NESN Plus carries all our games. And if the Sox are not playing at the same time, they put us on the mothership, as we call it. So like for the broadcasting, it's incredible. And it's an amazing place. It's the best gig in minor league baseball. We know because we have so many people that want to work there, but I'm very proud to be from Massachusetts and being able to work for them. It's incredible.
I will say though too, it's also an incredible ballpark as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember growing up going to Pawtucket and like looking back at it, and now like I remember the first time I went to Polar Park and I'm like, holy smokes, this place is nice. Yeah. This place is nice. I'm like, I like this. I think every time I go there, I kind of make it a thing where like I'm gonna always take like a lap around the ballpark.
Yeah, that's something we're all doing now. Yeah.
Like kind of every time I go there, just because it's too like I feel like too is always something new you realize, or like or like if you're a fan of a game, like it's one of the best ballparks to walk around because there's almost like the only place like your view I guess is blocked is when you're walking behind the batter's eye in center field. Like that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it is so it's like a great place too to go walk around. You have food options in center field too. So while you're back there, you can go get some food. There's always rotating food options back there. It is a great place. And I think too, it's one of the things when they were moving from Pawtucket to Worcester, I think a lot of people had the nostalgia factor of Pawtucket, but I feel like Worcester's almost, being in Worcester is almost, with how good the ballpark is, how good it feels like everything is run there. It feels like it's, I don't want to say the nostalgia factor of Pawtucket's gone, but it's very much like nobody's crying for them to go back to Pawtucket. Everyone's super happy being in Worcester, which is kind of a credit to the organization as a whole, because they were in Pawtucket for a long time.
Yeah.
Years, decades.
We almost lost you, Derrik. I think you're back though.
Yeah.
I know the Pawtucket thing is a sore subject
Yep.
for a lot of people too, but what a lot of people don't understand is that the minor league baseball used to be separate from Major League Baseball. Like they had their own office in Florida, and that got absolved from MLB. Said we want to just take it over everything, and what they did was they put in a lot of rules to organizations, minor league teams, and they did this to Portland. Portland had to do $20 million of renovations, and the deal was, if you don't do them, you're done. There was no negotiation, and Larry and Dr. Charles approached Pawtucket and said, "Listen, we have to do ballpark renovations, or we'll lose," and the city wouldn't pay for it. So, and they're the landlord. That's part of their, so. Major League Baseball put a lot of pressure. That's why they really needed another ballpark. It wasn't that they wanted to leave McCoy. They had no choice. The things that you have to put in now it is absolutely, I don't want to say ridiculous, but like Portland had to put in a new clubhouse. It had to be exactly to the inch of what MLB told them to, or they couldn't open it. Like they had to follow their plans. And, at the end of the day, it is their product. But they put the vice grips down on, and a lot of teams lost. Lowell's gone. They cut 2 levels. Trenton, New Jersey lost a lot of teams were gone because they couldn't. So when Polar Park was built, they built it with the new standards now that Major League Baseball put in. So, and the minor league players are now part of a union. So there's a lot more money that MLB is spending on players, which, as we know, they don't like doing that.
Also, doesn't hurt too. You get a new ballpark for the player side of things. They also get a brand new clubhouse with a brand new ballpark.
Yes.
And it's a nice clubhouse. I will say that. Nice clubhouse. Nice everything in Polar Park. I guess it's kind of the way to put it. Everything's nice.
Players like being there too. That's another thing. When the players come back,
I have one complaint. Getting onto the field from the concourse area, very difficult.
It is not that hard. It is not that hard.
I know. We go through I know. It's not like other ballparks are easier. We don't have a side gate anywhere, right?
No.
I don't think,
no. To Matt's point, it's not so much that it's difficult, it's that it makes you look like you're doing something you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you almost have to look like you're trespassing to get onto the field, which is like, again, it's super nitpicky, and they're like, if you have your pass, you're not going to get in trouble. But like the first time I went there, I had no idea where I was going either.
No,
so
I
get that.
Yeah, same. Like I've been going onto fields forever, and I'm like, how do I get around there? Like I didn't know how to do it, but
see, I got lucky the first time I went. Bradfo was there, and I literally walked in. I literally arrived just after him, so I literally just followed him. I just followed him onto the field, and I'm like, okay, this is the way you go. Cool, got it. So I kind of lucked out with that.
He's a seasoned pro.
Yeah, Jordan and I were just walking around texting Derrik, like, where is this entrance? Like, what are you talking about?
I remember because the first time Jason went, he was with me, and he's like, and I'm trying to explain it to him, and I'm like, and it was a good thing we were walking together, and I'm explaining it to him as we're going into Polar Park, and he's like, what? And I'm like, just follow me, we'll make it there. just follow me. We'll get there.
Mike, who are some of the cool, like, I know that every year there's some players you get to see doing rehab assignments and stints in the minor leagues. I know the game that Jordan and I went, not this year, but last year was, I think it was Joey Votto's, like one of his last 2 games in the minor leagues when he was at Polar Park, which is really cool. And there's obviously just always a rotating cast. What are some of the cooler names that you've gotten to see play or even call their games?
Well,
at
I
Fuller
called his
Park?
last home run, by the way, on TV.
Oh, Votto?
Yeah, and JP Ricciardi said, "You realize like that's a future Hall of Famer right there." That was fun. We seem to get a lot of, and it just works with their timetable to get back. But we had a lot of visiting rehabs like Scherzer rehabs and Bieber both rehabbed against us last year. I called Dustin Pedroia's last game in Portland.
Wow.
And he was there my first year in 05, and he came back when he tried to play. When Jackson Holiday came around, that was a big deal because there was a lot of media for him for a non-Red Sox player coming here to Mass. We had a pretty good scrum for him, and his dad was there the whole week. His dad, Matt. But yeah, those big league guys are fun. Scherzer messed around a lot with our media because he had a bad hand and someone shook his hand and he was like, make him pretend it hurt. You screwed up, One of our sideline reporters got that famous Tristan Casas quote. Laura Stickles, the one where Tristan said, I feel like someone shot me or whatever, or stabbed. And I'm like, oh man, because I knew Cora would not like that because it kind of throws the trainers under the bus. But yeah, those guys, when they come down, we had Kike Hernandez, but we had Schwarber, but it get rained out.
Oh, that's right, because he was hurt when they traded for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good old
I mean,
Kyle Schwarber at first
all
base.
time, my favorite's Ortiz. We had Ortiz in Portland. That was the best. And then Roger Clemens 1 year in Trenton. But we get we're getting a ton. It's weird. Like anytime a guy gets hurt, I'm like, oh, I wonder when he'll be. That's how we think now. I wonder when he'll be here. Like,
yeah,
they will, Then the Sale thing, this is a funny story. That what happened that night, I get a text message from the Red Sox radio producer saying, hey, Joe and Sean want you to come on live after Sale comes out. And I go, what? Yeah, they're like, yeah, we'll put you on the phone and you'll talk to them while they're calling the game. And I'm like, how is that that's a little weird, So while I'm doing that, people are texting me because he's tearing up a TV while I'm on the air with those guys. I had no idea. And I get back into the booth, and the guy I'm working with, Cooper's like, you're not gonna. I'm like, I already know. And some guy recorded it. That was And then we got it like that. That's
the infamous TV incident. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too because they have the like body like punching thing, whatever. And I'm like, and every time I see that, I'm like, I wonder who that's for.
Same. I think yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, hey, if you need to get some frustration out, I've never. That's one thing I've like. Why not have something like that? Like they can just walk down the tunnel, punch that thing, and then turn around and get all their anger out, go back into the game.
And my other personal rule that I have, like when guys get sent down, I don't really talk to them. Like last year when I walked in and I saw Bernardino, I just kept, you don't. It's just weird, let them have their couple days. They're not always thrilled to be back there, which, I mean, I can't imagine being in the big league life. But our place is not bad, because a lot of them can still live where they're living. And it's still,
Your guys' place is significantly better than the Oakland Athletics home stadium for the entire, I guess they're not Oakland anymore, I should say, but the Athletics entire stadium.
They're not Sacramento Athletics.
Yeah.
Although I got to imagine Connolly Early goes and makes that start in Sacramento, and he's like, "Damn, this is a downgrade. This is a downgrade from Worcester." Like,
yeah, I mean that whole thing is bizarre. I mean, a lot of the Oakland people were working remote, like their media people were doing all of their work from Oakland.
So weird.
Yeah, I know. It's not. I didn't like seeing that. Like, I know this kind of like, I was in a cool like Tampa and Oakland are playing in minor leagues. I'm like, not really. I mean,
Tampa was a different scenario though.
Yeah, and they did a good job.
They did. I actually went to one of the Rays and Dodgers games, at
Sell out.
Steinbrenner Field. It was Kershaw. Kershaw was pitching, so it was.
All right, fair enough.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, fair. Yeah, I think that's a fair reason to go. Well, also too, my grandfather wanted to go, and I didn't tell him Kershaw was pitching, and because he thought he didn't know Kershaw was pitching, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess who's pitching today? I'm like, Kershaw's pitching. So, but like the Rays didn't do a bad job there, in terms of kind of. It didn't feel as much like a Yankees stadium outside of the fact that like of seats is like a Yankees logo, but like outside of that, it felt very much like a Rays field, and they were actually in Tampa for once.
Yeah, that's true.
That's nice, right? Like the Rays were actually where they should be.
Yeah.
I can't believe they rebuilt the Trop.
I was going to say, it's kind of incredible.
It's beyond me. I don't know why they just didn't decide to build a new stadium anyways, but hey, they have new owners now. Maybe. Probably not.
If you had the choice to put a dome over Polar Park, would you do it, or do you like that it's exposed to the elements?
Oh, no, I would love it. Yeah, I think we all would. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like we love pitch clocks and fast games, and I don't like rain. I don't think anyone does. I think it's in 50 years they'll all be, and then that way you can change you can play earlier. I don't think the major league season we should be playing World Series games on November 1st. I think I don't know. I wouldn't believe too much into the NFL nowadays, but maybe it won't matter. I don't know.
I think the only stadiums that won't have roofs are like your old time stadiums, like Fenway, like Wrigley, etc.
I think with the balanced schedule, you're putting yourself at a. They play Russian roulette with the schedule now. Like, I think the Angels have come here in April like twice. So you can't say, well, what if the odds of it raining are very. What would you do if you lose, like when you're playing these West Coast teams once here? If you lose those games, when do you admit like? The new schedule,
or do they end up happening in Los Angeles and otherwise?
Yeah, but the player, but do you want to do that though? That's the problem.
No, it's stupid. You shouldn't do that. Yeah. I remember, and here's the one thing I love the Trop for. It has a roof, right? You never have to worry about a rain delay.
Yeah, retractable.
Yes. When the Blue Jays were playing in Dunedin, post COVID. In 2021, before they went to Buffalo, I was going to go to a game. It was Blue Jays and Angels, and the Angels hadn't gotten rid of Pujols yet. Trout hadn't gotten hurt yet, and they still had Ohtani, which is kind of like my big selling point of like wanting to go. You get kind of those three guys, and I guess Anthony Rendon, if you want to see the worst contract in history, but that's besides the point. And got there at the game was supposed to be at 1:30. Got there at 12:30 and it just downpoured. Literally, game got canceled. They rescheduled it for like July or something like that. Yet it had already been announced that in June the Blue Jays were going to Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
So it was like I ended up going and seeing the Angels when they played the Rays because that was the first time I saw Ohtani play, but missed out on Trout because he got hurt and they DFA'd Pujols. And so I missed out on Trout.
But then he was a Dodger.
Yeah, but I didn't get to see him play. I always like the fact that it had to rain that one specific day was annoying because it's like, if it wouldn't have rained, I would have gotten to see Albert Pujols play. I got to see Trout eventually anyways at Fenway, but I was just like I miss Pujols.
It's brutal too. Because people will map out like vacations and stuff to go visit certain ballparks. Like it's for somebody like for me, like I live about 25 minutes from Fenway. So if a game gets banged, like I can make the trip again. But somebody who traveled from the South or from the West Coast, they're not so lucky. They can't just take that, whole weekend off again, or that whole week off from work again to come back out here. So it's definitely something that I think any new stadium being built needs to at least have the retractable roof.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we're talking 15, 20 years from now, if there's even any sort of dialogue about Fenway being rebuilt before they put a roof on Fenway. But yeah, I remember the last time the Angels came to Fenway in April. It was I think Bayo came back from the IL and he pitched an inning because it was pouring.
Yeah.
So dude comes off the IL and he doesn't even get to pitch.
And they can't make it so. I know people want, like, why can't they have all the West Coast you play? They just can't. And the teams don't want to, the Angels don't want to open a home they have to rotate that. That's something we even fight through in the minor leagues. We try to schedule based on geographic, and no one wants, like, teams in warm climates, they don't want the games in April either. Like, it's a whole, the whole schedule thing you could do a whole podcast on how ridiculous that can be with the arguments of it's a whole,
Like Portland had their entire opening weekend snowed out 2 years
tons
ago.
of times. Yeah.
It was every weekend home games for Portland for the first month either got rained or snowed out.
So we tried to do something with the Southern League and the Texas League. They had meetings about this because they didn't like playing in the summer because it's too hot. And we just couldn't make it work. It was too bad because we were going to go there, I think, for like a whole month or to start the season. But of course, it was the cost, Yeah, no one wanted to pay for that.
Well, like I remember the Blue Sox last year, their first, they were at home and then they go to Jacksonville to play the Jumbo Shrimp.
Yeah.
And it was it's okay, you go from 30 to 40 degree weather to, oh, now you're in Jacksonville. And
well, they were in spring training like the week before that. So
yes, exactly. They went from spring training up to Worcester, down to Jacksonville, just to go back up north. It's okay, this is a little bit crazy. One, travel-wise, it's a little bit crazy. But also, two, hot weather, or warmer. It's not really super hot at that point, but still. Hot climate, cold climate, hot climate, back to cold climate.
Yeah.
Also, too, it also affects the game as well because, depending on the climate, changes how the ball flies, changes a lot of things. Some pitchers might do well in warm climates. Some of them, or that first, kind of weekend, opening day, Saturday, Sunday, go into the cold weather and then having to go to Jacksonville right after, you might kind of catch yourself struggling in that cold just because you're not used to it because you spent all spring training in the warmer weather. And especially if, the Red Sox have 50 million people from California in their organization. I don't think
California shortstops, that's for sure.
California shortstops and college pitchers from the SEC.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it is. Because Oklahoma is an SEC school now, so
but they weren't when our Oklahoma boys went there. Fun fact.
Yeah, but Kyson Witherspoon.
True. True.
But SEC/Big 12 because Tolley was Big 12, but SEC/Big 12, all Southern schools. The Red Sox just won't draft anyone from. Mike Sirota was rumored. The Red Sox could have drafted him because he went to Northeastern and then the Dodgers took him because that's what the Dodgers do.
They don't like people from the Northeast. Don't be.
Hmm.
Be serious.
I wanted them to draft Jared Schuster way back when because he was from New Bedford and I grew up in New Bedford. Yep, I grew up in New Bedford and then the Braves took him and then he ended up. Now I think he just signed with someone.
Pittsburgh. No, he signed with St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis. It was one of the two. It was one of the teams in the NL Central that has a former Red Sox exec.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
it's a very good point.
Close enough.
We actually have a running bit right now that Craig Breslow only deals with former Red Sox executives. That's been all of his trades so far, whether that be Pittsburgh or the Cardinals
or Washington.
And Washington, yeah. So
and potentially Arizona if they do make a deal with them.
It's true.
And the thing is,
trade for a Pirates pitcher too.
Heim knows what he's getting too, right? Where other executives might not know,
Yeah. Taboni as well. I mean, Taboni has a real advantage too.
Yeah. I like Mike Hazen a lot. Mike was the farm director for the Red Sox in the early 2000s. I'm a big fan of him. And Ben too. They all worked under Theo.
Yep.
That's quite the umbrella. Yeah.
It is interesting, though, how the Red Sox made this whole thing about how they're going to name a GM, which most likely was going to be Taboni, just for the Nats to scoop him up. And now the Red Sox are just like, like we haven't heard anything about them naming a GM since then. And it's like,
yeah.
I think
Theo
Sox prospects.
Was Theo the first president? Like, remember we were calling these guys GMs?
I thought it was Dave. I thought Dave.
It was Dombrowski.
Oh,
because they wanted to hire Dave over Charrington.
Yeah, then Charrington resigned, and then Hazen took over as the GM.
Yeah,
I heard that the reason that they were talking about naming a GM is because they were really just going to be like internally promoting Paul Taboni to it, but it was more of like kind of like putting someone on your 40-man roster so that they don't get sniped in the Rule 5 draft. They said it was more of a like, we'll give you this title because then the only way someone could actually snipe you is if they're going to give you, the full reins of their operation. And the
Nationals just did it anyways.
That's what the Nationals did. So they're like, okay. Well,
and then he goes and takes Devin Pearson with him too. And it's like, oh, come on, man. They're just taking everyone.
Well, you notice the Mets have been sneakily kind of grabbing all of the Red Sox guys that Justin Willard like the pitcher, all the pitchers that he was kind of tinkering with last year.
There's some other people. There's some other Red Sox personnel that work for the Mets too. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
I think
for such an inept organization, every organization seems to be poaching their guys.
It's not what a lot of people internally, like in other organizations, think of the Red Sox. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Not what you think,
the Red Sox are so dumb. Yeah, that's why everyone wants everyone who works for the Red Sox.
Right.
Come on.
That's why
it's like nobody's asked. Nobody's gone to Brian Cashman and been like, "We want you to be our president of baseball operations," or some made-up position to lure him away from the Yankees. Nobody's ever done that.
Rest of the offseason, looking ahead, we have a lot of lineup holes still to fill. I feel maybe not a lot, but like there's still a outfield logjam. There's still like too many outfielders for the amount of positions and DH that we have. Then you also have like, okay, well then that forces you to play kind of a weaker second base or third base, depending on where Meyer goes. And, do you really want David Hamilton and Romy platooning to at second base? Is that like what you're okay with again and rolling that out at second base? So I'll ask you, kind of Mike, to kick it off with this question, but what is like an A+ rest of the offseason look like for you so far? Not saying like what would be an overall A+ offseason, because I think we had our expectations somewhere in the clouds based on, what Breslow told us, but based on what they've done now, what can they do to salvage and A+ the rest of the way for you?
I think keeping Bregman, I think it's important. I really do. You found someone that can play here. He is a leader in so many different ways. And like I said earlier, you got to do right by your young guys. Roman Anthony's your franchise. He aligns very well with Roman Anthony. Roman Anthony looks up to, like, I think you have to, there's other factors that Bregman brings that would worry me. I don't think Bichette's going to be that kind of guy. He could be, but I think and he plays third base. That's a position of priority. That is a very important position. Devers got back. The root of that whole issue was his defense. It wasn't that they brought Bregman in and didn't talk to him. It was because he was not good at third base anymore, and they brought in Bregman because he was better. So you keep him. I'm not worried about how they're going to figure out the bullpen, because they have they'll figure that out. I trust them in that. It would be nice if they could bring in Bregman and maybe someone else. Could they do that? Sign Bregman and get a Brandon Donnelly? I don't know. But I think even if they just brought Bregman back, fixed a little bit of their bullpen, that's still it's still really good. I think it's still better than last year.
So Bregman, fix the bullpen, and Donnelly is kind of what your A+ option.
I mean, if they could do that, yeah. I don't think that's realistic, but
I mean, they could go after Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
Yeah, that's I said that, a couple of months ago. Like, why not? I mean, he's a 5-tool player, man. I mean, he does everything.
I mean,
Obviously.
I think the argument would be if you're going to give a whole bunch of money to Bregman,
Yeah, I know.
would it just be
Yeah.
better to give it to Kyle Tucker, right? Like, and I think that's kind of like obviously though Kyle Tucker. The interesting with Kyle Tucker is this
have no
isn't like
third
Juan
baseman,
Soto. Well, the issue with most of my issue with Kyle Tucker more than anything is, or not issue, just like intrigue, I guess, is like what is his market even? Because last year everyone's like, oh, Soto 700 million, et cetera, and it's like Kyle Tucker. Who knows? I feel like Kyle Tucker's like the biggest question mark there is on the market. Just because it's like, who knows how much it's going to be, how many years, when he's going to sign, right? At least like Murakami was like intriguing because it's like, what in the world kind of deal is he going to get? But like everyone knew, okay, well, he's going to have to sign by, today. It was, whereas with Tucker, he could wait till February. And that's, I think, what makes it so like, what's going to happen with him? Because if he waits out, does he get that big long-term deal he wants, or is he going to get stuck in a Bregman situation? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know what other teams are thinking, but I mean, he would be a natural fit for a lot of teams. I think. I mean, that's
the issue though for that though those teams is how many teams have the money for him.
Well, yeah,
right? Like that's more so. It's like one of the things that I've looked at is like the Blue Jays could make sense, but like. They have that Santander contract. They just gave Dylan Cease $200 million. They probably would like to bring Bo Bichette back if they can.
Yeah.
So like, how much?
Tucker's going to wait till what Bellinger gets.
Yes.
And then he's going to want more. I mean, it's what they're all playing off each other. I mean.
Yeah, but it's also too with like because like it's like what about maybe a team like the Giants could make sense, but there's rumors they want to move Jung-Hoo Lee to right field and move him off of center field, and if that's the case. Where does Tucker play? Like, yeah, they maybe could put him in left, but like it feels like if you're getting Tucker, you put him in right field. So it's kind of like and also too, the Giants already are spending a boatload of money on position players.
I do think it's weird that the Cubs traded for him and then that's it. Like, I don't know what kind of guy he is. I mean, but it seems.
I think the expectation was always
one and done though. You traded for him, you wanted him, and then that's it. They're a big market team, If they don't keep them,
are they
a big market team though?
Yeah, are they a big?
They
market
cosplay
team?
as one for sure. They like
they
to act like they are.
Chicago, right? The Cubs should be. I mean,
they should be a big market team.
They're a team that exists within the confines of a big market, but they don't operate like one. It's weird because like. I think Jesse Rogers like completely squashed the idea of that reunion in August, which I think was silly. I mean, not silly of him. It's his job to report on what he's hearing, but like for the Cubs, now you're in a position where like I think there's a decent chance that we're looking at like a Carlos Correa situation where he went back to the Twins right around or where he signed with the Twins right before the lockout or right the year before the lockout. And I think that Tucker could be in a similar boat where he signs like that 3-year deal, gets
with
Oh,
an opt-out,
gets like $45 million for 1 year, and then re-enters the market next winter. Because I think part of it for him is he's been hurt so much the last couple of years too that like, do you really like Soto for all his faults as a defender? He posts, he plays 160 games a year.
He's a game wrecker,
Tucker impacts the game in more ways. He's not a better player, but he impacts the game in more ways. But he's missing a month every year. Yeah. And like, is he worth $45 million a year, knowing that at any random point throughout the season, you're banking on 4 to 6 weeks without him? And I don't. But I think,
and when he came back from injury last year, he wasn't as good either. Like,
no, I think he's still playing through something similar to Bregman. I think that there's a mid-market team out there that makes a lot of sense for Tucker.
The Reds.
No.
Yes. Well, in terms of being
yes, but
or Baltimore,
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please no.
I think that's a fit. I think it's sneakily a very good fit. I mean,
my question is, what they have 50? They already have Tyler O'Neill on their bench. Not that he matters, but
they're still way under their threshold, right?
Yeah, they're $74 million under the tax.
They're way under.
But like if Tucker's taking that 1-year deal too, I mean, again, probably not. I mean, he'll probably someone will cave and give him at least 6.
But he'll he'll be in a good lineup there, so he could think about it.
Yeah, I mean, they got Taylor Ward.
Yeah,
they could, but Ward's a rental. They also have and by the time that Adley's contract's up and they have to pay him, Tyler
Yeah.
Real's contract's expired, Ryan Helsley's contract's expired. So there's the $30.5 million that you may need to pay Adley. And then on top of that, like you could use Colton Cowser to trade for pitching. You could use Dylan Beavers to trade for pitching.
Yeah, I think Cowser's got to play center for them though.
Yeah, probably because Beavers is more of like a true corner guy, but I see the fit there, and
they do have Leody Tavares, but he was awful last year. He's awful last year.
He's cheeks, but it's fine.
Although their pitching is kind of underrated though, like in some ways. Like
I like that
Bradish,
Shane Baz.
Kramer, and now Baz in that rotation. Like that's.
But Matt, one other thing, I would take Framber Valdez. I know a lot of people don't like him because of what happened last year. I personally don't care. That stuff happens. Cora knows him. The guy is a legit ace. I think that's a really good arm. I mean, he's he's a big time pitcher. They're not going to do it. But I'm surprised the market for him. I mean, he would if they traded Bayo or. I would take Framber Valdez on that team. He'd be him and Crochet.
I wonder how much of the Red Sox aren't spending on a start. Not this is me spitballing, but like, what if they really don't want to go long term on a starter because they want to chase Scooble next year? Like, because like the Scooble Crochet is like best 1-2 in like the history of like baseball potentially. Especially from the left side, like it's disgusting. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying, like, how much of it, too, is knowing that Scooble is going to be a free agent.
They better.
No, I'm saying, like, they might as well, like, go after Scooble next year. And, like, in some ways, if you go get, like, a guy like Framber now, are you taking yourself out of the ability to...
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that might be, like, Sonny Gray almost works perfectly because he's essentially a one-year deal. Right?
Bingo.
And Scooble's going to get paid. There's no doubt about it, right? And obviously this is just speculation, but if you could put Scooble in that rotation with Crochet and you have that 1-2, like
it changes the whole.
And then also too, and then you also look at like guys like Early and Tolley, and it's like good luck to every other. That would just be like that'd be good luck to every other.
Five straight lefties, just absolutely.
I mean, but who cares, right? Like who cares? We could all be amazing.
And after year 2 of that Scooble contract, Yoshida and Story are both expired. Yeah. So worth keeping tabs on that. And then you have all these guys like, I mean, you already have Anthony locked up long-term. You already have Campbell locked up long-term. You'll have Meyer still on pre-arb. Costas is, I think, would only be on arb 1 or 2. So like you've still got a lot of dudes on your roster that are not getting paid yet. So you could house, and like Crochet's on a bargain of a deal too. If he'd waited a year, oh my God, we'd be,
I know.
I'd hate having to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, like the other thing too, is like, if you look at the Red Sox here, Sonny Gray has a $30 million mutual option for next year. That's getting declined. Right. For sure. Chapman has a $13 million vesting option. So we'll see.
That's dirt cheap, though, for how good he is.
Yeah.
Patrick Sandoval's got 12.75 coming off the books.
Yeah.
Right.
But you got to think like Abreu.
Hicks will
think about
4.5.
You might have to get Narvaez money. Yeah.
Narvaez, Abreu, Duran. They're all going to
even
cost
early Tolley. You might have
more.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but all the money they have coming off the books, if they wanted to make a legitimate run at Scooble, they probably could.
All 30 teams should call.
Yes.
Well, yes, that is true. But like you look at a team like the Yankees, where they already have Cole, they have Fried, they have Rodon, all on big money. Adding another big money starter probably doesn't make the most sense for them, right? It's not saying they couldn't do it because
baseball wise, it would, right?
I mean, they're the Yankees. I mean, hey, they're the Yankees. I wouldn't count them out of any big free agent, but wouldn't it make the most sense to have 4 big money starting pitchers when they're still going to have Stanton under contract and Jazz Chisholm's going to be a free agent? Like, they need some.
I do worry that if Scooble gets traded to the Dodgers, I just worry that he doesn't ever want to leave.
Why would you say that?
Why would you? Why? And the thing is, what's so obnoxious is the Dodgers legitimately have the farm system to do it if they wanted to. I think the Dodgers could legitimately pull off a trade for anyone.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox and Mets could too, right?
Yeah, I'd argue the Dodgers farm system. Like, well, the thing with the Dodgers farm system is like, whereas guys like Early and Tully are kind of more like big leaguers now in some ways.
You'd have to give both
Like,
of them. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas like the Dodgers farm system, like they're not trading out of the big league talent; they're still trading guys in the minor leagues.
Yep.
Whereas like if you're the Red Sox, you're trading an Early or Tully. Those are guys who are factoring into your big league picture in 2020.
I don't think Morris is going to let anything happen till he's going to want him to go to free agency. And
Absolutely.
Right, yeah,
He'll be the first $500 million pitcher.
Yeah, he's going to be. He's worth it.
Although I will just say the Dodgers rotation would be the most disgusting thing known to man if they were. I mean, Skubal, Yamamoto, Snell, Ohtani, Glasnow, Sasaki, just
yeah.
And
That's
then
not
Edwin,
even
and then they have
thinking
Edwin.
I
Then they have
don't want to
Edwin
think
Diaz
about
in the
it
bullpen.
anymore. Get it out of
They
our
have Edwin
heads.
Diaz, Tanner
Yes.
Scott in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Was not good this past year, but
They have freaking Emmett Sheehan or whatever his name
Yeah.
is.
I think
He's
he
like
gets
a
traded in a
stud.
Skubal trade.
They have Roki Sasaki. That's like they're like 8th starter.
Yeah.
Like Gavin
They're doing
Stone
what
was
they do.
really good in 2024 for like for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
He's not even a thought.
They're running it like an NBA team where the regular season means nothing to them. It's like
They make
training.
so much sense for Kyle Tucker as well. Like just straight up, they make so much sense for Kyle Tucker.
I don't want to talk about the Dodgers getting more elite players.
They
please.
make so much sense though. They can move Teoscar to left and put Pages in center. Like they make so much sense.
Yeah, it's like, do they want
They
to bring
need
back
to
PK
get- they also-
or
well, also, too-
Tucker?
Well, also the Dodgers in general though, I think they need to get Teoscar out of right field. Even if it means flip-flopping him and Pages and just putting Pages in right. The fact that they'll play Teoscar in right field willingly is kind of shocking to me.
Well, have you seen their right field? It's not that deep.
Yeah, but also too still. Like I would rather put Pages in right field than also I'd rather put Pages in center over Tommy Edman. This isn't a dig at Tommy Edman, but Tommy Edman did not have the greatest of years last year.
Well, on the plus side, Craig Breslow did say today that, let me grab the quote here, free agency is part of the equation here, he said. He was asked today why he's made 10 trades so far this offseason and 0 free agent signings. He goes, there's only so much you can dig into your system in trades. Free agency is part of the equation here. It's not a deliberate or intentional. We just haven't signed a free agent yet.
There's also only so much money you can have on the payrolls before you can't spend any more money, apparently.
He's not real.
I love Breslow, the fact that like he just gives like the most non-answers of all time.
Yeah.
It is, and everyone gets so riled up, and it's like, what do you want him to just tell every other team what he's planning on doing?
Yes.
like I love the non-answers because everyone gets so worked up about it. Just for it's like, do you want him to just give every other team what his game plan is so they can go into that game plan? Like.
It's just so funny to hear to see how the offseason's gone, and then he's like, yeah, free agency is cool. It's like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you want to involve yourself? That'd be pretty sweet. It's, it is what it is. But one thing I'm curious about, and you talked about it a little bit earlier, Mike, is when guys get sent down, you don't really want to talk to them right away. Like you kind of want to give them their time to, unwind and kind of realize, kind of let it settle in the situation that they're in. But what we saw last year when Christian Campbell got sent down in June, and then didn't seem to be part of the Red Sox plan at any point after that. What did you see from him kind of as the season wore on, whether it be kind of how he carried himself, just his performance on the field? Like, what did you say?
Fantastic teammate. Like he immediately, it was like he had been there the whole time. I think there is a sense of relief too for certain guys that struggle. I've been around this. I was on the bus the time when Buchholz got sent all the way down from the big leagues to us. He joined us in Altoona, and you could see there was a sense of relief. Like yes, it's good to be in the big leagues, but if you're getting your brains beaten in, or you're like Campbell was really, really fighting it. And and he just kind of blended in as one of the guys. He worked his tail off. First base wasn't his thing, you could tell, but I thought he got better. Our manager was really open about it. There was a lot of his development that he didn't have, and this stuff happens. Like, the Red Sox have a pretty good track record of position players. Like, this rarely happens to them. And I thought he did a good job. For me, I know like pulling the ball is important, but I think his power to right center is impressive for someone. He's got a lot of juice to right center field. I think he can play the outfield. But he was great. He did all the media stuff right away. But I think he was, like I said, he was relieved. Richard Fitz told us the same thing. He said he should have never pitched that game against the Angels. That was a lot of his decision. He pushed the Red Sox to do that, and he said, I was wrong. I should have been here. And he's like, he said, I'm happy to be here, which is great. But I thought Campbell got better, and I like what he's doing with his stance in the winter ball. I thought he was way too. He does this thing where he leans back and leans forward. There's too much going on with his whole load and setup. But I wouldn't count that guy out. There's a lot of tools in there to like, and I think he could play. Maybe he plays left field down the road at Fenway, right? I mean, that could be a spot for him.
He's a freak athlete, which is why I get why they want to try him out at middle infield and kind of see how they could fit him into the equation. It's just so weird to me, how they're going, because they extended him, so they made it a point to lock him in for the long haul, and then they're like, hey, this position that we have too many mouths to feed at, you're going back there full time. Like, I'm not trying to insinuate anything as far as his future with the organization, but it's interesting because you already needed to move an outfielder, and then now if Campbell's a full-time outfielder, now you got to move two. I mean, he's got to earn his way back to the bigs, but
definitely
now you got to move two potentially.
Unless that's kind of how other teams see him, they do stuff for that reason too. I was surprised he made the team. We said this. I remember being at a dinner in late February with the Woo Sox guys, and we were like, we didn't even think Campbell was going to be part of that team last year. And then I remember someone saying, "No, I think they want him to make the team." We're like, "What do you mean make the red?" Like, we were shocked because he only played for us for 2 weeks in 24. But they wanted a right-handed hitter, and it looked good for a month, but really it shows you how you get humbled in that game quickly. I mean, it is. That game is, it's just, it can be so rough on those guys, and it crumbled. But yeah, I don't know what the plan is. First base just did not look good for him. For Justinson, he played there once, and he was unbelievable at first base. So we'll see if the Pirates do that at all.
Well, apparently
probably not, because the Pirates need a lot of things other than first base.
The Mariners today signed Rob Refsnyder, and in their press release that they put out, they announced him as outfielder / first baseman Rob Refsnyder in the official announcement. So, guys, our first baseman was there the whole time. We just never even asked him. Imagine the Rafael Devers drama gets completely cleared up.
Rob could have played second base, because he played second base way back when.
Dude,
he did.
I can't.
Yeah.
Hey, Willson Contreras played third base for one game in 2021. Maybe he's going to be the Devers replacement that we've all been looking for. Okay. I'm joking.
Well,
obviously.
We've obviously taken up a lot of your time this evening, Mike. We appreciate it. I know we could probably keep rambling for hours, but we all have lives and jobs, and it's the holiday week, so we appreciate you taking time out of your busy life to come and join us. Where can people find more of your work? I know you do some other stuff other than calling games, right?
Yeah. X is, of course, the at Radio Mike on there and on TikTok, and then I do a podcast called Red Sox Now on YouTube, and that's a fun thing I do Monday through Friday. Love the comments, some are real off the rails, but It's fun. Yeah.
I just want to mention too before we wrap up, the fact that Chad Tracy's still with the Woo Sox.
What's that?
The fact that Chad Tracy's still with the Woo Sox.
Oh yeah.
1, shocking. 2, amazing.
He's our manager. He's the best guy. He's really unbelievable. He'll be a big league manager at some point, but real good leadership. Yeah.
I'm shocked he wasn't even like in consideration for a job.
Yeah, there's been rumors of Cora's interest in potentially going to the front office, and his contract is up after 27.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Hey, if Chad Tracy can stick around that long, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he is, he'd make a great.
Do you have any other final thoughts, Jordan?
No, I mean, apparently Alex Bregman changed his profile picture on Instagram back to him and his kid at the All-Star break at the Home Run Derby. So he's in Sox gear again. So that's something to monitor if you're into that kind of thing. But other than that, I got nothing.
I swear, I think I know these guys probably are doing it on purpose too, to trigger everybody. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me because they can be like kids. I could see Bregman going, watch this. I'm going to change my profile today to his workout buddies.
Well, it's all a leverage thing.
Huh?
Tomorrow he's going to change it to like something with him in an Astros uniform.
Yeah,
it's all leverage stuff. Like, I mean, if he does that, sees how Red Sox fans react,
True.
and it's like, look at how the fans are receptive to me changing my profile picture. Like,
that's a great point.
how important I am to the city at this point for 1 year. Like,
yeah,
look what
Boris.
happens when Boris. Let's look what happens when Boris says I might go to Arizona or Toronto. Look how like crazy these Red Sox fans get because they I mean so much to them.
it's true.
Well, hopefully they make another move soon, and we're not here stuck waiting until the new year, saying when's the next drop going to happen. But Mike, again, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. Look to catch a couple of games down in Worcester this year for sure, and hopefully we'll connect while you're down there. And until next time, obviously Derek, myself, Jordan, on behalf of the Pesky Report, we're brought to you by Beyond the Monster. We hope you guys have a happy holiday season coming up, and until next time, go Sox.